And here's a favorite from Eddie Watkins, I am the place where God shows up.
Am I strong enough to bear the burdens that sometimes come living this thing called life? Am I wise enough to make the right decisions when I'm standing at the fork in the road? Sometimes I wonder and ponder, only to realize I'm not alone. There's nothing I have to do on my own, because I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes, has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes, and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. Will I have enough to do the things I need to do to take care of myself? Will I have the health of mind and body to live a life of grace and wholeness? Sometimes I wonder and ponder, only to realize I'm not alone. There's nothing I have to do on my own, because I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes, has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes, has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes, and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes, and has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes, has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes, has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes, has its being. I am the place where God shows up. I am the place where God lives, moves and breathes, and has its being. I am the place where God shows up.
Good morning. Welcome to the Rio Grande Center for Spiritual Living, teaching the science of mind so that we can all live better lives and contribute to a world that works for everyone. Thank you for joining us today. My name is Marilyn Kirk. I am a licensed spiritual practitioner here at the center. You are here by divine appointment. Welcome home. Helping with our service today, I'd like to acknowledge our practitioner, Chris Duvall, as giving our invocation. High watch is being provided by our practitioners emeritus, Julia Washington, Marge Largoite, and Merrit Jones. Our tech and video support, both here and offsite, Annette Martinez and A. Johnson. Our Zoom facilitator after the service, which you are all invited to attend, is Kamatara Johnson, and our announcements will be given by Dr. Norm Dawson. We teach the science of mind, which is the study of life and the nature of the laws of thought. The idea that we live in a spiritual universe, that God or Spirit is in, through, around us, and that this presence is a loving source of all good. And most importantly, every man, woman, and child who lives in this universe is significant to the Creator. I'd like you to join with me in reading our vision and our mission statement. Our vision, transforming our world with the power of love in action. And our mission, loving all creation through spiritual growth and service, always staying true to our highest self. I'd like to invite now Chris Duvall to provide our invocation.
Thank you, Marilyn. Let us come together in the recognition of divine connection. It is power, presence, and intelligence. It is the spaciousness in which we live and move and have our being. Let us take this moment to breathe deeply into the silence, which is within us, around us, above and below. As we center ourselves in this breath, we surrender anything which obstructs its free flow. We release anxiety, judgment of self or others, any conditions which are no longer needed. And then what arises is purity, peace, true health and well-being. Our minds and our hearts and our words are now perfectly aligned for the clear giving and receiving of the divine will. I breathe tons of light-filled blessings upon Kamatara today as she speaks the word through her mission of evolutionary consciousness. I know that she is truly inspired, that the music is inspired, the whole service is, and that we are blessed and guided because of it. Each one of us in our beloved community experiences a greater good and a clearer focus through the divine love and support expressed here today. As I release this invocation into law, I'm so grateful for all who are attending and who are in service. I'm grateful for the power of this service and the good that comes forth. Thank you, God, and so it is.
And so it is. Thank you, Chris. For the reading today, I was selected a small reading from the blog of Dr. Gail Brenner, who's an author who wrote a book called Suffering is Optional, a spiritual guide to freedom from self-judgment and feelings of inadequacy. And she has a small article where she writes about the art of listening to the still small voice within. And here's what she says. What is it like to know something in your bones? For me, I just know it. There is a definiteness, an undeniable truth, a yes. This knowing does not arise from the logical and rational mind. It's not caused by emotions. It is clarity, pure and simple, that just seems to appear in my consciousness. She has a quote from Shakti Gawain, who said, "Every time you don't follow your inner guidance, you feel a loss of energy or a loss of power, a sense of spiritual deadness." She goes on to say, "The truth is always speaking to us. The voice might be quiet, but it is ever present, guiding us to navigate the river of our lives with perfect intelligence. Are we listening? Or is this the inner cacophony too deafening to hear?" When our internal experience is crowded with stories, opinions, doubt, justifications, fear, and other emotions, we are not quiet enough to allow the truth to be heard. And this is where we get into trouble. If we make life decisions by listening to the noise and not the silence, these decisions come from fear and unconsciousness, and we eventually suffer the consequences. She has a number of bullet points about how do we know when truth is talking, but I think the most important one is there's a sense of clarity excitement or relief, or an undeniable knowing. The true path for our lives cannot be figured out or created. Our job is simply to listen. And in the listening, we will be given all the guidance we need to do exactly the right thing. When we listen, life unfolds mysteriously. We get out of our own way and allow the still small voice to be heard. Now I'd like the band to provide us with some music.
Here's some inspiration from Faith Rivera called God Is.
Thank you. That's so wonderful. I know we're all in here going, I'm sure you are at home too. We're blessed today to have Kamatara Johnson speaking to us for this morning's message. And Kamatara is a practitioner and ministerial intern here at the Rio Grande Center for Spiritual Living. She has recently finished all of her coursework, yay, at the Holmes Institute and is only 5 exams away from being a newly minted reverend. Her core mission is to empower conscious evolution, and her ministry is currently with Circles USA, where she serves as the Chief Learning Officer, training communities across the United States and Canada to implement a highly successful anti-poverty initiative that strives to create a world that works for everyone in reality. I invite my friend and almost Reverend Kamatara to share her message with us today.
Thank you so much, Marilyn. That was a beautiful introduction. And through the magic of technology, I get to be in the band and I get to speak and is so wonderful. And we all get to be together today. So I'm very grateful to be here with you. And I'm grateful to be inside of the Rio Grande Center for Spiritual Living, which is really a big treat. And when it's the right time, we all come back together, you're going to be amazed. It's so beautiful and redecorated, and just the spirit that's here, it's just gorgeous. So we will definitely keep you posted as plans unroll in a very safe and intentional way while getting everyone back together. So thank you for being patient while we do what's for the best and highest good for everyone. All right, so here's my official start. Today, we get to talk about chapters 5 and 6 from Merrit Jones' book, Your Redefining Moments. And if you read those chapters, you know that they are about silence, stillness, and contemplation. And so for me to get that topic, if you knew me pre-quarantine, you get the irony that of all people on earth to get this topic, for me to get it, it's preposterous. I get that. Okay, I do understand, with all due humility, that, pre-quarantine, I was absolutely a garrulous hummingbird. Okay, just picture that for a second. Yeah, I know. It's the drug of choice of many Americans, and I was absolutely right there. Talk, move, go 7,000 miles per hour, and talk at Mach 2 and get her done, and not really face things that need to be faced, and just having all these drive-by conversations and just jet ski on the surface. Absolutely, that's where I was. But there's been a really interesting shift into solitude as of the last couple years for me. And some of it is the shift to my new career. I went from teaching hundreds of students a day and commanding a room to I work at home with my 2 cats. Yeah, that was kind of a huge shift into solitude. And then, of course, quarantine. And maybe I'm getting older and slowing down a little bit. That could be part of it too. So we'll just say E, all of the above. There's been a shift. And it's been really interesting to witness, to shift from being frenetic into the stillness, or to shift from doing into being, or to shift from kingdom 2 to kingdom 3. And right now, if you're saying, wait, I don't know, what are those kingdom things again? It's okay. Here's the crash course. I'll try to do it in 2 minutes. Okay, remember that kingdom 1, it's a kingdom of consciousness, and we're citing Reverend Dr. Michael Beckwith on this one. So kingdom 1 is, oh, life happens to me. I'm a victim. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm drinking from the fire hose. And then when I accept responsibility for my life, like most people in New Thought do, oh, wait, I have control? Woo! Then we go through the gate and we're in kingdom 2. Okay, life happens by me. Now I'm holding the fire hose. All right, this is a much better position to be in. And man, I rocked kingdom 2 hard. I used to joke around that I could out God God. Like, oh, just get out of the way. I'm going to take care of business here. Don't worry about it. I got this. I liked kingdom 2 because it's very safe for me because I'm in control and I can just do what I want. But I'm sure you know, and you're probably kind of smiling on the inside, that holding the fire hose is not sustainable. It's really exhausting. And when we get exhausted, as I was in my life in the last few years, suddenly I can put down the fire hose and I can surrender. And surrender is what takes you through the gate to Kingdom 3 consciousness, where life happens through me, which is what that God is song is all about. God happening through me. And that's an entirely different stance. Now I'm floating down the river. And then occasionally you might have glimmers of Kingdom 4, which is that unitive state of life happens as me. Then I am the river. That's a totally different experience. Might have glimmers of that, but right now I'm trying to grow into that Kingdom 3 state of surrender to the divine, being an instrument. I'm trying to get into that posture, the stance of stillness, which is just a completely different way of operating. And that's where the practical mysticism that Ernest Holmes talks about, that's where it happens. That's a really interesting place to be, in the stillness, in the silence. And if you're reading along, chapter 5, page 75, this is from Dennis Merrit Jones. He says, silence is the sacred medium through which you fathom the infinite depths of the original self. And in the silence, we can create an intentional gap in time and space to notice and reflect upon what is going on within, at the center. And this is where I can be an instrument of the divine. And if any of you have played an instrument, you know that it actually takes a lot of listening to be a musician. You have to listen to what's coming out of you. If there are other people in the band, you're listening to other people so that way you can align. You're also breathing very mindfully. Even if you're not playing a woodwind or a brass instrument, even if you're just playing the piano, you're breathing a certain way with the music. And I know when I'm accompanying my dear friend Yvette or Andrew, I'm breathing with them. And we are aligning together, and we are feeling, and we are collaborating and co-creating this amazing work of art that I could not possibly make by myself. And that's what Kingdom 3 is like. It can't be my agenda. It really is a thy will be done moment. But I can't know thy will unless I can come from a place of stillness and really listen. And it takes so much courage to step into the stillness and to hear the answer. Be careful what you ask for. You just might get it. It could be one of those moments. But in the silence is where we could hear the guidance of the divine. I want to share this beautiful poem with you that some of my friends at the Albuquerque Center for Spiritual Living hit me to. It just knocked my socks off. And it is from David White, who is a favorite in the New Thought community. And this poem is called Walking in and Out of Silence. At the edge of silence, you suddenly realize that you have been given the complete and utter gift of your own transparency. The revelation of your own exact boundary with the world. The frontier between silence and speech is exactly the line you must cross to give yourself while saving yourself. The gleam in your heart and your eye, another sun rising, the old memories alive after a long night of absence. And the world again suddenly is worth risking, worth seeing, worth innocence, worth everything. I love the two concepts in there, especially about in the silence, myself becomes transparent. And that silence is the boundary between myself and the world. How am I choosing to interact. So I can be in the world, not of it. I can be responsive, but not reactive. I could be transformational, not transactional. And that's the shift that I've been experiencing these last few years. That in this space, I can connect with clarity because I've made the space for grace to do its job. And then I can feel the spaciousness of a breath and then respond. To actually, and this is a big actually for me, to think before I talk. Now, I know some of you have that in spades, but that is new ground for me. It's epic. So I'm going to say that one more time. To feel the spaciousness of a breath and then respond. And is it possible to bring that stillness into the movement of my life? That is practical mysticism right there. Also from chapter 5, Dennis Merrit Jones writes, something profound happens when you consciously merge your being, the what, with your doing, the who. Stillness fills in the cracks and crevices between your breaths, and you find yourself experiencing your oneness with life. And as Reverend Arlene from Agape likes to say, I sit in the presence so I can stand in the consciousness. And that's the place from which I want to do business. I want to have that kind of balance. And it's a goal. It's something I'm working on. And sometimes I hit it and sometimes I don't. And that's okay. I'm just going to keep trying to practice the stance of stillness. But in the meantime, until I get it down, I know that there's a whole continuum of experience that I might have. I might swing from silence all the way to isolation, which a lot of people have been experiencing during this time of quarantine. And that can get really gnarly to be in total isolation. That's not productive silence. Or I could get into my monkey mind, like when I used to work 40, 50, 60 hours a week at a factory in college and I had to wear earplugs. So we couldn't, even though there were all these people around, we couldn't talk. So I would have hours upon hours just going down the rabbit hole in my mind. Oh my gosh, that is not productive silence. So there's a whole continuum here too, from monkey mind to mindfulness, which is the productive silence. Or for people that are steeped in contemplation, that is important, but at some point, I hope that turns into action. Because it would be really easy to just stay in contemplation all day long. I always joke around, I'd be so holy if I did not have to interact with people. Woo-hoo, let me tell you. But I also understand I need to take these gifts or this guidance or whatever this is and take it out into the world. So that's the trick. How do we find the balance between silence and isolation and the monkey mind and mindfulness and contemplation and action? Well, it's by listening. The discernment that comes by listening to spirit. And do you know this old teacher phrase that listen and silent are spelled with the same letters? Yeah, I know you're flipping through it in your mind right now, aren't you? Yeah, they really are. And so I love what Dennis Merrit Jones says in these chapters about listening to your compass. That was a surprise to me. And the compass is a symbol throughout the whole book. And if you know me, y'all know I love the compass. I used it as a symbol for my workshop that I taught a couple months ago. And I thought about it as a visual symbol for sure, like, oh, align with your north. What's your north? And a feeling kind of symbol, like, can you magnetize all the aspects in your life to go in the right direction? But I never thought about listening to your compass, which really took that symbol a lot deeper for me to create that space of remembrance where the little s self can remember the capital S self, or as Ernest Holmes says, where deep calls unto deep. That's where I can really find my direction, my authentic self, and I can answer questions like, who am I? And what am I doing here? That shifts us into chapter 6 about self-inquiry and contemplation. And Dennis Merrit Jones writes, a commitment to conscious and ongoing self-inquiry keeps us moving more deeply into the territory where our authentic self was buried when we were born. Self-inquiry helps us remember the way back, to remember who we truly are and thus who we were born to be. This is the space where the still small voice that Marilyn read about can be heard. To be still and know I am. In fact, let me change that a little bit. To be still and know the I am. And what's so exciting and almost paradoxical is that when we are still and we know the I am, then we can unknow all the conditioning and the noise and the craziness and the rabbit holes and the what of this lifetime. So hold on to that for a minute. As I am still and know the I am, I can unknow all that does not serve my best and highest good. I can release the constraints of this existence. And it reminds me of Reverend Martha, and she used to say, she had these 4 sentences that were just little zingers. I'll call them Reverend Martha's provocations. And they were 4 of them. Remember, she used to say, give up who you think you are. Give up what you think it should look like. Give up what you think you know. And give up what you think it means. Ouch. And yes, absolutely. And this is how we can redefine ourselves, by dropping our definitions. We can release those constraints. We can open up to the divine. I love the quote that was in the book by Adyashanti. The silence inside of you is the sound of your knowledge collapsing. Remember, it is you who said, I want to be free. And Reverend Dr. Michael Beckwith, I love this. He calls it growing from role to soul. He says, the only authority is our spiritual insight gained in our oneness and absolute unity with the power and presence of the love of God. And that's an evolutionary process as we move from introspection to transpection. So intro meaning in, trans meaning across, and spec means to see, just like spectacles. So just think about that again. In this sacred space, we could move from introspection to transpection, where we are transcending all conditions and preferences and details, and we can open up to awareness itself. So the foundation is remembering who and what we are. And the extension is that upon the sacred ground, I can listen. And I think the big question is what was quoted in the book, Greg Lavoie. I love this quote. I'm going to hold on to this one. I'm going to ask it often. What question is at the heart of my pilgrimage and my life? What is the question I was put here to understand? So in lieu of a spiritual mind treatment, I think it's really important that we have a mini experiential that actually takes us into the silence and allows the divine to inform us, so we can just have a little appetizer, a tasty morsel of this experience of exactly what I was talking about, because it would be silly to just keep talking into the silence. So let's set this up. Go ahead and get yourself comfortable wherever you are. Rearrange yourself. Move the cat. Okay. Take a drink of coffee. Get yourself set. And could you also know with me that even if you're in a place where there's some commotion, It's Sunday morning. The neighbors might be using their chainsaw. The sirens might be going down the street. There might be commotion in your house. Doesn't matter. Just know with me that you still can connect with the silence and the stillness no matter what is around you. Okay. So let's take a nice deep breath in and out. And do that again. And did your shoulders just go down? Good job. Some more breathing. And unclench that jaw. Relax your forehead. Head to toe scan. Just take it down. Relax. And to take us a little deeper into the stillness, we're going to use a mantra. And you can think half of it on your way breathing in and half of it on your way breathing out. So we're going to start with breathing in, and we're going to think, I am that which thou art. And we're going to breathe out, thou art that which I am. And again, I am that which thou art. And thou art that which I am. And hear it inside. I am that which thou art, and thou art that which I am. And now hear it whispered in your heart, even without me saying it, as you breathe. And now that this beautiful foundation is poured, connected with that one loving source, our minds are open, our hearts are open, our hands are open, and we ask this question. What question is at the heart of my pilgrimage in my life? What question am I put here to understand? And let's take a moment just to listen. And I hold on to the gift of what has been received, the feeling of it, the thought of it, if there were words or images of sound, whatever it was that came forth. And I know that I can go back to this sacred space and listen some more anytime I need to. And in this sacred space, I give thanks for all that was received. And I know that in each person's life, this question that's being answered, the answer is your life. You are the place where God shows up. I am the hands, the feet, the voice, the heart of the divine in the here and now. And I know that the answer to the question outpictures as my life in this very moment going forward and all week long. And that clarity is gained and actions are taken and the silence guides me. It is rich and fulfilling and life is so very enhanced. And so I sit in gratitude for this experience and for being able to share this beautiful journey together and to know that God is my source And that source is so good. And so I let it go and let it be, knowing that all is well. And feel free to say with me or type in the chat. And so it is. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you, Kamatara. Helped give me a lot to ponder on this week. Appreciate it very much. So we've come to the time in our service where we invite everybody listening or watching to share your abundance with us. There are multiple ways to give, which are scrolling across the screen right now. And just know that your gifts, your tithes, your offerings are so very important and appreciated during this time when we haven't been able to meet in person. Remember that one of the secrets to prosperity is circulation. As you circulate your money and your gifts to the center, it all comes back to you multiplied many times over. And we are sincerely grateful for all that you can share, small, big, or whatever. We do appreciate it. So let us say our prosperity affirmation together. I am abundant, and I give from my abundance. I am prosperous. I give from my prosperity. I am blessed, and I give from my blessings. My blessings of spirit are as abundant as the stars, and so I give and receive generously. And so it is. And now we'll have some special music from our band.
Here's some inspiration from Jan Garrett, J.D. Martin, and Esther Nichols, Down in My Soul.
I hear the music down in my soul. I hear the music down in my soul. I hear the music down in my soul. Ooh. And the whole wide world is my home. I have a new day down in my soul. I have a new day down in my soul. I have a new day down in my soul. And the whole wide world is my home. I hear the silence down in my soul. I hear the silence down in my soul. I hear the silence down in my soul. And the whole wide world is my home. I feel the power down in my soul. I feel the power down in my soul. I feel the power down in my soul. And the whole wide world is my home. And the whole wide world is my home.
We're all singing along over here. It's just great. So I hope you were too. So the blessing of our gifts. Please pray with me. Holy Spirit, we thank you for your many blessings. As we share our tithes and offerings, we know that we are blessed in return. Cause the windows of heaven to open, pour out showers of love, good health, and abundance on all who are with us today. Bless our homes, our jobs, and our businesses so that we may continue to support the good work of Rio Grande Center for Spiritual Living. Thank you, Spirit, for all you've provided for us. And with so much gratitude, I release these words to the action of Spirit, and so it is. Amen. And now I'd like to invite Reverend, I made you a Reverend, Norm, Dr. Norm Dawson, to provide our announcements for today.
Thank you so much. I've been called a lot, but I don't think I've ever been called a reverend, so thank you. Yeah, this is Dr. Norm here. Hey, Kamatara, great message on the stance of stillness, especially that part where I got to breathe in. That was nice. Okay, thanks everybody for joining me for the announcement for upcoming possibilities this week here. So if you have something you want to get in the newsletter or an announcement for Sunday, that deadline is Tuesday at noon, and you can submit your announcement to announcements@rgcsl.org. And if you refer to the newsletter, the email newsletter that you get, the digital one, the highlights of the announcements that I'll be giving now, those details will be available in that newsletter. So real quickly here, the Reach Out and Center for Hope and Healing. Hey, spring cleaning, get out there and do some exercises and shovel and rake and do all those wonderful things here. They're going to be doing a socially distanced outdoor cleanup to be held on Saturday, May 8th at 9 a.m. at 4125 Carlisle Boulevard, Northeast. Monday morning meditation is now Monday morning midday meditation. That's being held, of course, with our new technology, Zoom. So if you get a hold of Gwyneth Welch, she will send you an email and let you know and remind you of what's happening. Hey, guess what? We're going to get a new minister. We don't know when yet, and we don't know who, but the transition team continues to meet to gather all the information needed to attract that new person. We have a compassion ministries team, and they are so involved with active and powerful prayer in their team. And this week, the Compassion Ministries team is highlighting rental assistance and utilities provided by the state of New Mexico. So if you need more information, go to the newsletter. The Bright Ideas program is really interested in hearing your bright idea. Take that bright idea and submit it to Reverend Karen or the center here and let us know what it is you want to do to share, and we'll put it up here on Sunday morning. Your bright idea. The center is still, or just it's been going for quite a while, creating small groups here at the center, using the COVID guidelines, of course, and get a hold of Carmela, and she'll give you more information about which groups are meeting and when. And then, of course, as you saw, the wonderful music we have here, we're, according to the survey, there's a variety of Sunday music requested. And so if you sing or play an instrument or would like to share your other talents at the Sunday service, please let Reverend Karen know about that. Now, I can do YMCA, but I don't think that'll go over too well. So contact Reverend Karen for your special talents and skills. And be sure to attend the Zoom post-service fellowship meeting right after this and it is closed caption. So thanks for joining us today for Sunday morning announcements.
I'd like to add to that also, you are all invited to attend our Zoom social hall. And if you don't know how to do that, check your newsletter. And if you don't have the newsletter, then send an email to our office and ask to be put on the newsletter list, and that will help a whole lot. Thank you for that. And it's now time for our benediction with Chris Duvall.
I'm so grateful for this service. I'm so grateful for the power of spirit that comes through our choice of the stance of stillness. For that is the place of rest where the power of the divine word and action comes through us purely and powerfully pointed because we've listened and allowed it to do so. And this is truly freedom and joy. So let us breathe once more again together, breathing all the grace and peace of this service, all that we have realized today, and breathing it out as loving service to ourselves and the world. And so it is. Amen.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful